Welcome everybody. I think we're ready to get started. Thank you so much for joining here today. I'm sure you're all ready to get home very soon, especially after last night's day the night out. I'm very excited to be here presenting in front of you today. I'm representing Fandango today, and Fandango came up with this product that has been super successful for us. It's called Studio Portal. And that's why we reached out to Tableau to see if they can give us an opportunity to share our success story with all of you here. There you go. All right. I'm Nikita Koradia. I'm the Senior Business Intelligence Engineer at Fandango. I have worked on Studio Portal for over 2 years and on Tableau for about 4 years. You can see there's another name as presenter, Rahul. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to be here today because of some urgent matters. So if I ever say we instead of I, it's probably because I've forgotten he's not here. Moving on. All right. Our hope for today is to present Fandango's before and after picture in front of you. We have how we've gone from answering ad hoc requests from our customers, from our studios, to making them self-sufficient and giving them the data in their own hands. We have developed clean, simple design for the product that's easy to use and does not expect a customer to be techie. Basically come up with a product that can be monetized and yet be easy to use. And we call that Studio Portal. Fandango, where we love movies. So our vision at Fandango is to deliver fans the best possible movie experience across the total movie life cycle, anywhere, anytime, and create a platform that can generate value for our partners and customers. We want to do everything movies. From the moment it comes out, it's announced, from the moment it's out in the theaters, and the moment when it's available to be watched from the comfort of your homes. We want to be a part of your every movie experience and make it better. We partner with our customers throughout the movie life cycle. Beginning from discovering movies, we have upcoming movies on our websites like Rotten Tomatoes and movie clips. You can even go there and watch the movie trailers to identify which movie you want to watch, whether you want to watch Venom or A Star is Born. Once you've decided on the movie, you can pre-book your tickets and go to your nearest theater or near your favorite restaurant. Once you've watched the movie, you can share it with your friends and family. You can even share the review that you have for the movie with them. And once you're totally mesmerized by an Avenger movie, you can totally go to Fan Shop and buy the curated merchandise for those movies. This is an example of how we create content around a movie. This was created for Star Wars: The Force Awakens. About 12 to 18 months before the movie comes out, we know the movie is going to come out, so we create content around speculation. What are people expecting out of the movie? Once we are about 2 to 4 months closer to the movie, we release the pre-booking for the movie. We have mashup videos. We have reactions to the trailers. A lot of curated content that's created by movie clips or Rotten Tomatoes. We even come out with gift cards and promo codes that are movie themed that are available in the market for people to purchase. Once we are about a few weeks away from the movie, we have interviews with the cast of the movie, as well as we have critic reviews available on Rotten Tomatoes to decide whether it's worth spending the money to watch that movie or not. Whenever someone thinks of Fandango, they only think of ticketing. We're not just online ticketer, but we also have a universe of brands that we own. For awareness, we have brands like Rotten Tomato. We have Flickster. We have Fan Shop, where you can buy curated merchandise. For ticketing, of course, we have Fandango and movietickets.com, which is one of the newer brands that we have acquired. And for home entertainment, we have Fandango Now, where you can buy or rent movies and TV shows. Fandango has also spread across other countries. We are one of the largest online ticketers in Latin America. We cover about 85% of Brazilian market and about 50% of Mexico, Colombia, and Peru market. We have also spread to UK and Canada now because we just recently acquired movietickets.com. So I have been talking about what Fandango is doing, where they are, how they've become such a big brand. But that's not just to brag about it, but to show the growth that Fandango has gone over past couple of years and how Tableau has been a very crucial tool that has helped us achieve what we've achieved. Right now at Tableau, we have, at Fandango, we have 2 Tableau servers. One is an internal Tableau server and one is an external Tableau server. The internal Tableau server is used by teams like accounting, finance, gift card teams, executives. And we have about 100 active users that hit that server on a daily basis. The second Tableau server that we created was external facing, basically for our studios. So we have studios like Fox, Universal, Disney. They come on to our Tableau server on a daily basis and get information like ticket sales, for their movies in comparison to other movies. What demographics are they hitting? What are the page views that they're getting for these movies? This is helping them a lot to identify their, where to spend their marketing dollars. Right now, we have about 11 studios that have been onboarded onto our studio portal. All right. Today, we'll dive deep into our product called Studio Portal. It's a collection of actionable data points that is available to be used by teams inside Fandango as well as in studios. Teams like marketing and product development are 2 very important teams that use these tools on a daily basis. We'd like to present to you our journey as to why we came up with this tool, why did we feel the need to, how did we develop it, and how the product has matured over time. Just a warning, all the data in the dashboards has been modified and does not represent the true value. All right. Studios have no information regarding their customers. They never get any ticket sales information. They don't know who's buying their movie tickets. They don't know whether it's millennials or middle-aged men. They have no idea who's buying the tickets. So they have a great appetite for the data that Fandango can provide to them, especially in today's day and age where marketing is so digital. They need to know where to spend their marketing dollars wisely. And that's why Fandango has been fielding these questions for them for a very long time, where every day they would come and ask us, how is our movie tickets doing? How are the page views? And Fandango realized that this is very inefficient. We take about 2-3 days to get back to them, and it's just a waste of time for them and us. So we realized that we need a product that they can access themselves. They can pull their own data, and they can be self-sufficient that way. So that's when we came up with Studio Portal. This was the very first dashboard that we had created for Studio Portal, and it just gave very basic information about ticket sales. They could compare their movie to a few other movies and see how are they doing in comparison. Do they need to spend more dollars or not for marketing their movie? When we presented this to the studio, they were really excited to see the dashboard, and they wanted to spend more time with us to come up with more improvements and new features that they can add to the dashboard. So we went back and forth, and we have grown this dashboard ever since. We've added a few more dashboards as well while we were communicating with the studios. Despite all the progress that we had made working with the studios, it just didn't feel we were there yet. Something was always missing. The onboarding process, especially for users, was difficult. Users would, especially if users have never used Tableau, they were confused, they didn't know how to use it, and the UI was not as user-friendly for them. So that's when we decided that maybe we should come up with something that's easier for people to use, and so we don't have to convince them to use a product. They would automatically want to use it. So this is the new design for Studio Portal that we came up. This is the home page when you sign into Studio Portal. We wanted to give a good aesthetic feeling to the tool, so we worked with our UX and dev operations team, and we embedded our Tableau reports into Ruby Rails iframe. On the home page, you can see on the left-hand side, we would have the logo for all the studios when they log in and the username. And we have about 11 dashboards, and all of the dashboards also have their own logo in here. We've tried to match it to the Fandango theme, which is the dark blue and orange, trying to keep things more uniform and simpler. So this is the newer version of the first report that I showed to you. Now, this is how this report looks. It's clean. We're trying to keep everything uniform. All the filters are at the same place in all the reports. So the user is not going around hunting for the filters or hunting for where should I get the data from. And we have also made sure that all the colors that we're using for comparison stay exactly the same. The way we've done that is we are blending 3 different data sources in here. That way, the primary movie that we are comparing would always stay orange, and other movies would always stay blue, just so it stands out. And this way, we don't have to worry about colors changing or 2 movies getting the same color. It just gets harder to read the graph then. And on the left top side, you would see that there is a select method of comparison that helps decide what other filters are going to be visible on the report. So right now, it says compare with other films. That's why we have filter for first comp film, second comp film, and third comp film. Once they change the select method of comparison to genre box office, the filters have changed. Now we have filter for genre and box office. So if I want to compare Fast and Furious to action genre, where the box office earning was about 100 to 150 million, you will be comparing all movies that fall under that category. And at the same time, we hid all the filters that we had for comparing to your comp films. This way, the user doesn't have to know that I can't compare genre to first comp film or other filters. Basically, they don't need to think about what combinations work in the report. It's simpler, and all the other filters stay in the same exact place. And then we have the data at the bottom and the graph at the top. This is also exactly the same report, just the filter has changed. Under select method of comparison, now we're comparing the primary movie to custom list. So this is a very interesting feature that we've added to Studio Portal, and our studios really, really love it. In the Studio Portal, we have a UI where they can create a custom list of their own. And they can create as many as they want. So for example, I want to compare the current Fast and Furious movie to all the previous ones. Of course, we have more than 3, so we can't do it in the first method. We have to do it using the custom list. They can upload a whole list of movies that they want to compare it to, or they can type it in however they would like it. And they can select the custom list dropdown, and they can compare the movies to that. So that way, it's easier for them. And if I have created a custom list, other users can also use it, so they don't have to keep creating the custom list. And at the same time, once you select the compare with custom list, all the other filters from the right-hand side go away, making it easier for them to understand what they're doing. And the films in the custom list are displayed on the right. So it's easier for them to know what they are looking at. So just recapping, it's just one single dashboard with 3 different set of filters, making it easier for users to use. They don't have to get confused about what filters they need to use. And we have done this using sheet selector. So with that functionality, whenever we change the filter on one, it will only show the filters that are relevant to the filter you picked. This is a second version of the first dashboard that I showed to you. The only point I would like to emphasize on this one is a lot of times studios came back and told us we want cumulative data, we don't just want the data by day. And we thought, okay, we'll just reuse the one, just change the calculations and publish it for you, so it's easier for you to do it and we don't have to do it for you. A lot of people from studios, if they have product development or marketing people, they also had trouble using Excel. So a lot of times they would send the data to us and they say, oh, can you give us cumulative data for this? And we decided we'll just reuse the existing dashboard and recreate the calculations for you, so it's easier for you guys and it's easier for us. This is a very important dashboard, and people love using this one because it's hard to get this information. Right now, studios, like I had mentioned before, don't know who they're marketing to, who are buying their movie tickets, what do their customers like, what do they don't like. And this dashboard gives them information about what age are you targeting, and is it working if you're targeting a certain age? What race or what gender, whatever you're targeting, is it working for you? And you can, even here, you can compare it to the genre and box office comparison to see if the same marketing strategy that you used for another movie, did it work for this movie? Or maybe you need to change your marketing strategy. One important thing about this dashboard is, since we have about 11 studios, the studios can only access their own demographic data. Since it's PII, they can't see other movies' PII. To do that, we have implemented studio security in Tableau. And I'll show you how we did that. We basically created a mapping from what ticket sales we have for a movie. We mapped it to the studio that released it. And we also have a mapping for child to parent studio. For example, we have DreamWorks that's owned by Universal. So we want to give Universal the opportunity to look at DreamWorks data as well under demographics. So we have studio mapping where we map movie to child and a parent studio, and every user is mapped to a parent studio. This way, we want to make sure that they only look at the demographic data of their own studio. And through the studio portal, when a user logs in, at the bottom it says Universal Portal. That's what it would show if a Universal user has logged in. If it is a Disney user, it'll say Disney Portal. Geotargeting. This is a very interesting report because it gives some very interesting data points and trends about your movies. For example, this is regarding, it's the, I'm sorry. Oh, 50 Shades of Grey, yes. It's 50 Shades of Grey. And when we were looking at this data, it was very interesting to see that for this particular movie, we saw users going really far away from their zip code to watch the movie. Yes. And if you can see, somehow the East Coast is really high indexed. Maybe they're avid readers, you never know. But basically what it's showing is what is the ticket sale for that movie versus ticket sales for all the other movies. And if you're indexing high, it'll be orange. If you're indexing low, it'll be blue. We have the same thing. We had actually one more movie. We had Frozen. In that movie, what happened is you would see all the states that are usually get a lot of snow were all orange, and all the ocean and warmer states were blue. So you can look at the trends of the data, and it's very interesting that you can use for your own marketing purposes. This dashboard was particularly created just for executives. Executives like to look at data, but they don't have time to get into the nitty-gritty of the data. What ticket sales did you have last hour, or Wednesday at 2 p.m.? How many tickets were sold for a movie? So that gets too granular for them, and that's why we decided to come up with a high-level overview where they can look at the data, just have a glimpse of it, and know how the movie is doing. So we have summary for ticket sales for a given movie. We have page views for a movie. We have what average age are you hitting, gender, and geo-targeting. What are the top 10 DMAs that studios are hitting, and what percentage are they hitting? And in this movie, in this dashboard, you can even compare by genre and custom list. So we have the same filters that apply even here. This is probably our only report where we are trying to be more creative with our data. We're tying our ticket sales data with the data that we are getting from other brands that we own, like Rotten Tomatoes. We can actually do comparison with movies that have similar Rotten Tomato scores or have similar fan scores. So if I want to see movies that had 60 to 70% of Rotten Tomatoes score, how is my movie comparing against that? And you can even get the opening weekend gross. That is the whole box office, not just Fandango. And you can see how it's progressing. The first opening weekend, second week, third week, fourth week, how is it progressing against the movie we are comparing? Moving on to some of the internal reports. Recently, we've implemented a few internal reports that we are really proud of, and they have some of the features that we want to implement in our studio portal as well, and that's why we thought it would be a good idea to share it with you guys here. This report is our daily ticket sales report that goes out to executives. If this report doesn't go out, we'll know within 5 minutes because we get emails on a daily basis like, why is this report not out yet? They really like this report, and the biggest reason for this report's popularity is forecasting. We are forecasting our ticket sales on a daily basis. So if you see, we have forecast and budget. Budget is something that's refreshed on a yearly basis, but forecast is something that is refreshed on a daily basis. We have an algorithm. It hits the model, and it tries to forecast the ticket sales based on how we've done so far in the month. And at the bottom, you see it shows you the graph as well against the actuals to see if we are pacing in the right direction or not. This graph, the bar graph that we have, it also shows you daily performance against the forecast. It's telling us if it's green, that means we did better than forecast, and if it's red, then we did worse than the forecast. And this report, they really like this report because it helps them gauge the performance of a given month. This is same daily report. Is just giving us top movies, top DMAs, and top markets that we are hitting, top exhibitors. Just some brief summary for executives. Hourly ticket sales. I think this is cooler than the other report, personally. But what we do in this report is, on an hourly basis, we refresh our forecast. So we start with a certain given forecast in the morning. Example, we are saying we're going to have 10 ticket sales. And in the first hour, we had 0 ticket sales. It's going to adjust the forecast for the next hour. And every hour goes by, our forecast is adjusted. And if you see the line graph, the gray is the projection for every hour. And the orange is the actuals. So that's helping us see how we're pacing for a given day. This report is very, very important when big movies come out. On Fridays and Saturdays, we have executives watching this report like a hawk. They want to make sure that their movies are doing well. And this is something we think is going to be super helpful even for studios, and we want to implement this for them because for them, they have no visibility until next day as to how their movie opened. We have the same bar graph here where if you've performed over forecast, it's going to be green, versus if you perform worse, it's going to be red. This is, at the bottom we have the hourly projections. It's basically showing you this, everything that you saw in the graph in a table format, so you can see what the projection is. This is a third report that we are sort of still working on. It's a new edition. We're trying to see how we are penetrating our box office. It's surprising to see that we've been in this business for a long time, but this is the first time we're looking at this data. It's basically telling you how the box office did for a given movie or set of movies, how Fandango did for those set of movies, and what is the penetration, what's the percentage of tickets we sold in comparison to box office. And this tells us that how much more market share we can get here. This is super helpful when we are talking to exhibitors. When we want new exhibitors like AMC, Regal to on board with us, this is going to help us tell them that this is how much market share we already have and what we're striving towards, and it really helps to sell our brand. This is another gift report. Surprisingly, Fandango really pays a lot of attention to gift cards, and this is something that can be used by a lot of companies because gift cards is a common business that a lot of people have. This is trying to show to you what is the pattern of usage of gift card. The day I buy the gift card, what percentage of gift cards are getting sold on that day versus, getting used on that day versus 6 months down the line, 12 months down the line. And it shows to you that sometimes even after 3 years or 4 years, you will have about 30 or 40% of cards that they still have balance remaining on them. It's funny, some of these gift cards suddenly come out, like, a gift card was sold in 2010, we wouldn't see it for years, and suddenly 2015, Star Wars comes out and all these cards get used. So there's a pattern. When we have big movies coming out, we can see that it spikes with the gift card usage on those days. This shows you the redemption rate of gift cards. The orange is the redemption rate, and the gray is the activation amount that we've seen for those gift cards. Again, it's very important for us to use how much liability we have out in the market, because if suddenly we have like a surge of gift cards being used, that means that's our liability that we have to account for. So accounting team needs this, especially in December, because we have a big chunk of our gift cards getting sold just in December. All right. So takeaways. We want to make sure that the customer is self-sufficient. We want to give the data into their hands. We want to give them the independence and the flexibility to use the data the way they want to, instead of them asking us every time they need or want any data. We want to integrate dashboards together and make it a product which is a simple design, so that can be monetized and yet simple to use. We want to give a user-friendly interface, so adoption of a product is not difficult. We want them to use it on a daily basis instead of us pushing them on a daily basis. We want standardization across all reports, just so that there is less training needed, less learning curve, and the adoption is going to be a lot faster when you have standardization across reports. And last and not least, designing and creating new dashboards with the inputs of our customers. Our studios have paid a lot of attention to this product, and they have given us a lot of feedback, and that has tremendously helped us improve our product. We did not want to design this in vacuum. It just is not going to be the product that they want otherwise. Thank you. Thank you. All right, yeah.
In terms of the daily sales report that you create production, how is the refresh rate? You lock it like 59 p.m. and then bring out the results?
Correct. Correct. So daily sales report only shows yesterday's data until like 11:59, and when we are forecasting, we only use data until that time of the day. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you standardize that time? So, for instance, you just have a specific time to work locally, or is it 11:59 the day before? Is that time?
No, so we do it globally, actually. So recently we acquired movie tickets, like I'd mentioned, and they ticket in UK, Canada, and a lot of the East Coast. We have standardized it, so even there it's just PST 11:59:59. Yes.
So, I guess you track your usage rates for your external portal. How enthusiastic have your studio partners been with getting their executives and getting their analysts on board and interacting with your data?
I think it has been easier for us to get our external studios to get on board than our internal teams. It's funny enough. Yeah, there are days when our dashboard wouldn't refresh, and before we would get the error log for our reports failing, we'd get an email from Studio Dash. So there are a set of people that definitely use it more frequently than others.
And then as far as empowering your internal dashboards to feed into your accounting, your IT, and all of your functions, how successful have you been with getting your, what has really worked for you for getting them on board with it? Sitting in and doing a demo, or is it simply pushing out a working product on a basis?
Right. So for our accounting, finance, and marketing team, one thing that has really worked is we have uploaded Tableau data sources where they can just drag and drop and create their own reports. And that gives them that flexibility to create their own reports. And on top of that, every 2 weeks we have Tableau Thursday. So whenever they have questions, they can just come for Tableau Thursday and resolve it right there. If there are some people, they don't know how to create reports, so they'll just come in and they'll sit with us and create the report while they are driving it, and we tell them how to do it. So Tableau Thursdays have been very, very helpful for us for adoption of those reports. Yes. We're doing forecasting outside Tableau. It's really it's a very mature way of doing forecasting so far. We're just writing a SQL query that we're using as a custom SQL in Tableau for now.
Can you speak also to how you're updating your data on an hourly basis?
Okay, so we use a data warehouse, and we're copying data from production on an hourly basis, and our report runs off of that data warehouse. So we have data updated on a daily basis, an hourly basis. Also, we hit the raw data. We don't wait for the transformations to be done and put into our facts and dim tables. We just hit raw data directly, so we have it available every hour.
So you're connected live and not using extra.
Correct, yes. Yes.
Do you have plans to move your forecasting to like an R or Python or anything?
Yes, we do actually. We have already started. We have a data science team who's already doing it in R, and they've been doing it for almost 6 months now. They're tweaking the model, and our business is very seasonal, so it's been changing quite a lot. I'm guessing it'll take a few more months, and once that is finalized, we will move that R code or Python code once converted into Tableau.
Unrelated, but how do you clean your like demographic data? Like I noticed that like 15% of your people earn more than $150,000 a year, and it just didn't really line up with a nice even curve there. Do you guys do anything to govern that?
No, not as of now. We are just taking basic data that we get in and we stack it up. We've really not done much to clean up that data, other than the fact that we sometimes get information about people who are under 18, which we know they can't really buy a movie ticket with a credit card. So we know that that data is not clean, so we kind of take that off, but very, very basic cleaning. We don't really do much cleaning there yet.
So to follow up that question, for your annual income data, are people just self-reporting that, or are you getting it externally somewhere?
It's both, actually. So we get some of the external data, and there's some where we get reports as well. We also send out surveys to our customers, and they fill it out and send it to us. Yeah.
You're showing the pieces of content you're doing for awareness and conversions as well. Are you tying together people accessing their content and actually converting to purchase?
Not yet, but so we are working on a project right now where we're planning on getting all the omniture data that we use across all our brands and bring them in. We still are not very good at tying our customer across our brands, and that's something that's in our pipeline. We want to do that, hopefully. Since some of the brands are very new, like movie tickets is just a few months old, it's kind of been hard for us to do that, but hopefully soon, yeah. That's all movie tickets, yeah. We just have an API, and whatever price they give, we just take it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
On the other side of that question, so she's talking about measurement. Do you guys have any product or ability to help with activation? So movie studios log into the studio portal, say, oh, this demographic is, or these people saw Star Wars last time. Can we activate on the same population and target those people?
Right, so we don't market on behalf of them, but there is another product that Fandango is working on that we've sort of gone live with it very recently, and that's also, we're working with the studios where we help them identify the population. They pick the population, we tell them what is the likelihood that they will watch this movie versus not, and we provide that to them, and then they market to that population. Yes?
Do you incorporate any voice of customer information, Fandango users actually, any feedback from them?
You mean in terms of customer services?
Marketing folks internally?
Not in Tableau yet, no. We have a separate tool for customer service. It's an in-house grown tool, and they use it there. But customer service is very ad hoc at Tableau. We just have a lot of people who sit and look at the data, and there's really no manipulation of the data to even see what's there out there. So nothing yet.
Interaction with customers, asking them how did they like the platform, the Fandango platform, what other features would they like to see back?
Yes, we do have some surveys that go out for them, but another kind of interaction that we have is from Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes is open to everyone that watches movies, and they can actually leave their reviews on Rotten Tomatoes as well. So we have that interaction, and we do have reports around how the reviews are. It's very subjective, so it needs a lot of processing to understand how to score a given review, but we do have certain reports around Rotten Tomato reviews there. Yeah. Yes?
I know there's a security filter for the demographic dashboard.
Mhm.
Is there anything similarly applied to other areas, or are different studios allowed to see other studios' information?
For ticket sales and page views, they're allowed to see other studios as well. So Disney can see Universal data, and Fox can see Universal data as well. Yeah. And they're generally okay with it because this is more of Fandango proprietary data. They don't really have this data, so Fandango decides who gets to see what. Yes?
How have you been successful in making the trade-off between asking for a lot of detail versus simplicity in design? How have your dialogues with stakeholders been?
Right. So we had that issue in the beginning, especially when we showed them the first dashboard. They got too excited and they asked for a lot of things. But we internally prioritized those needs. We did like maybe 20% of what they asked, and we waited to see how they're doing. Did they have any feedback? Did they really need those things that they were asking for? There were some features that were really small, and we weren't sure they were going to be useful, especially some of them are very personal. They don't apply to everyone. So we thought we'll wait. We'll see if users wanted them, and then eventually there were some needs that they did come back, and we heard from other users, we added those, but there were some that never came back, and we just dropped it off the list. Yeah. Yeah, no problem. Yes.
Actually, the whole idea behind that board is fantastic because nobody on that right now who's free that. There are a lot of
Right. Well, the deck would unfortunately not be available for sharing. Legal department was not very comfortable with it. But you have my email. You can email me anything that you need. I can give you a lot of information regarding the studio portal and how it was designed and everything. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, thank you. Anyone else? Oh, yes.
Talk a lot about sending out reports to different groups. Is that done through like the subscriptions within Tableau server, or you guys do that?
We use the subscription within Tableau, but we have had issues because refreshes are not associated with subscription. What we do is we have alerts set up, especially on reports that are very important, like the hourly and daily. If hourly does in our table, if we don't have updated data, somehow the data import is lagging, we send an alert out, and then we stop all the subscriptions manually. Or in some cases, what we do is we send those alerts out to people who are actually receiving the report. So whenever they receive the report, they know that it's incomplete. Even for the daily report, we actually have an alert on top. It shows up in red if it has data missing. So we check for the data and make sure either the alert is on the report or we have another report built just for alerts. Yes?
You mentioned also connecting Tableau to your marketing clients and enable additional self-service. How successful have you been with getting people to get into Tableau and use that self-service aspect to look at the data they want to understand, and whether it's the knowledge gap of Tableau, it's a new software, we're going to have to train a lot of persons.
Right.
Here's this one-stop self-service portal where I can build a viz and figure out what I need to do, even if it's drag and drop, so it's simple.
Right.
How do you get people on board with and getting on the curve with the technology?
So I guess the answer would be threefold. One, we took away the only tool that they had to pull the data, so they had no choice left. Two, we were really stubborn. If they ever wanted any data, we would just tell them, go to the data source and pull it yourself. Or if you want, set up a time with us, you drive it, we'll show you how to do it, or come for Tableau Thursdays. So that was our answer for a really long time for most of the requests that they were sending. Three, we wanted to show to them that we were using these data sources, so all our reports are based off of that same data source. That way we could maintain just one source of truth. And we told them that that's all we're going to use. We're trying not to use any custom SQLs or just hitting the table. Everything is in the data source, and we're going to make our reports off of those. So that was, I guess, the first one was the most useful one. But that was very successful, actually. Hmm? So Tableau Thursday has been very successful, actually, for us. Our team, we are about 3 people in BI. We also have a whole team for adhoc analytics. But for BI, we're just 3 of us. We also train the analytics team to use data sources. They don't hit the warehouse either. And for Tableau Thursday, every time we get a request, we have a meeting set up every 2 weeks. And whenever someone sends us a request, we just add them to the invite. And we've done that. So by the time the meeting comes around, we at least have 5 to 6 people every 2 weeks to come and learn in that session. So that has been super helpful for us. Anything else? All right. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you.